Do you want to see how easy it is to make this book carry-in case? Stick around, I'll show you. So now I have cut those both 13" by 18". So for the handles, I am going to use this leftover of the main fabric, and I'm going to cut 2 of these. I'm going to cut them, keep them the 18" long, and then I'm going to cut them 4" wide each, and that's plenty because this is just a little over 8 inches left. 2 handles, 18" long, 4" wide. Now I'm going to use the leftover lining fabric for the tie, and I'm going to make these 18 inches long by 3 inches wide, 2 of them. You will need some type of batting that you're going to quilt onto your main fabric. I'm not going to show the process of that right now, but I'm going to do it and then I'll come right back. So now that is all quilted on there, and I'm just going to set that aside. Okay, so these are going to be the pieces that I tie the case closed with. So I just folded that in half, and then I'm going to fold each side in again and iron it. Then I am going to fold it in half and iron again. And I'm going to do that with both of these straps. The next thing I'm going to do is sew right along here and then right along here to get that closed and to just make it look nice and flat. I forgot to show this part. I actually need one end closed, so I'm going to fold one end in before I do this part, so that when I'm done sewing it, this is closed up. It'll look better when it's done. So as you can see, this end is closed and this end is left open. That end will go in and then this will be out, so you want this closed up. So I'm pretty much doing the handle the same way. The only difference is that I'm going to take a piece of fusible fleece and put it on one of these middle folds. So I'm just going to iron that on. This fusible fleece is 1 inch wide by 18 inches long. So the difference here is that you don't need to close the ends like you did on the tie strap, because both of these are going to be tucked down into the bag. Now to start assembling this, you're going to want to take your 2 tie straps and you're going to center those on each of the short sides. So this did shrink a little bit because I quilted it, so I did 6 1/8 inch on each side, and then I just clipped it there. And now I'm going to measure and decide where I want to put my handles. I'm going to do that on both sides. So I decided to measure 3 inches over on each side, and that's where I clipped on my handles. Now I'm just gonna do a quick stitch and tack all of this on. So I have those sewn in place, and now I'm gonna tuck all of that in, and I am going to fold this in half, and I am going to sew here and here. Okay, the next step is to box the corners. I'm gonna do that at about 2 inches, and then I'm just going to sew right along that line that I just made. I like to pin it in place so it doesn't move. And then I'm just gonna snip off the excess from each side. I'm gonna turn this right side out. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the lining. I'm just going to sew there, and then I'm going to box the corners, and then I'll come back. In one of the lining pieces, I would leave a gap like right around here to turn this right side out when you're done. So now I took my lining and I pinned the straps so that they don't get in the way. I am going to take the lining and the outside of the bag, and I'm going to put them like this, so they will be the good side of the fabric facing the good side of the fabric. And you're gonna really wanna make sure you line up those seams very well. So I have those seams lined up and I pinned them. Now I'm going to sew all the way around the top of the bag. Now with this hole I left, I'm just going to pull the inside out right through that hole. And to close up this, I'm going to change my thread to purple so that it doesn't stick out as bad. And then I'm just going to top stitch right along there. So the last thing I'm doing for this case is I am just doing a top stitch all the way around the top. And that's my completed book carrying case.